Well, hello there, my darlings, and welcome to another little episode of Warframes. And today we are looking at the spy mission Pavlov, which I want to call Pavlova, on Lua. And in this video, I'm going to go into a bit of detail, but if you just want to see the mission straight through, no dulcet tones, no chit chat, no helpful details, I have linked that very video for you in the description. I am a gamer, I get it. Sometimes you just want to get straight to the god dang it point, I get it. However, if you want to hang with me for a bit, well, you know, come hither. I should mention here that I have chaptered up my videos more recently, especially with the guide. So if you hover over the bar shown here, you can fast forward to the bits you need, and if you don't enjoy my dulcet tones, then that's fine. If these videos help you in any way, or you decide you do indeed like my dulcet tones, I'm gonna need you to hit the like button and or the sub button and or leave me a comment. All three, you get a gold star. I will appreciate you for eternity if you do, but for now, let's get into it. So as I mentioned on the screen, Miss Rosie was chatting about this in the Discord about grinding out a specific mod. Now, she didn't mention this mission specifically. I just did a little bit of research and found that Pavlov spy mission has a higher drop chance rate for this specific mod, which we'll go over in a minute. But the spy here, the actual puzzles, are a little bit more tricky and irksome than normal spy missions, and you have to get all three of them. Don't know if setting off the alarms is a problem for getting the reward, but it can be a problem because obviously you are then on a timer, and these three are tricky-ish, but once you know how to do it, you can practice it. And we're going to go over the Warframes that were options, but also we're going to have a quick look at the mod that drops. And before we look at that specific mod though, I meant to show you this is the reward tier table. So ABC just means if you get one of the spies, B is two of the spies, and I'm talking about like solving the puzzles, and C is all three of them, and these are the rewards. There's quite a few different mods in here. There's some stance mods that drop quite regularly, but over on the right there, very importantly, is the one that we're looking at. That's right, it's Rime Rounds, a very useful mod. It's got cold status and increased status chance as well. There's quite a few of those kind of mods around, and if you've got the time and the patience, you can go and farm them. And like I said, they go for about 30-ish plat if you want to sell them on Warframe Market, or give them to your friends because you're nice if you've got one or two for yourself. And the reason we want to go to Lua is because, as you can see maybe in this very fine print, there is a just under 2% higher increase of chance of it dropping from tier C on Lua compared to the other spy missions that it may drop from. Now, because it's a spy mission, obviously there are some very good options. Now, if you are super like tactical and amazing at jumping and parkouring, you won't have to worry about which Warframe you're using, but there are some Warframes you can use to help you, and there is one specifically to basically cheese it. Obviously using a bit of skill, but the first that comes to mind is Avara or Avara Prime with her augment mod, Infiltrate. That helps her bypass frickin' laser beams, all the security, and it helps her move quicker. I personally don't like using Avara because of that inability to stay invisible when she moves or parkours within her prowl ability, it's called. But if you want to use it, you can buy the augment mod Infiltrate from at least Cephalon Suda. This is where I could get it. It's 25,000 standing. I don't know who else, which other syndicates it's with, but you can trade it from other players as well if you are looking to bypass the barriers. The only problem with Avara, I haven't tried her in this mission, is that when she jumps, she comes out of invisibility, and there is one of the spy consoles to get to where you have to jump around and avoid lasers. You have to wall latch essentially on a very small target, and it gets a bit tricky with her. And I'm just going to show Loki, or here Loki Prime, because he does have the ability to go invisible. I don't think he can bypass freaking laser beams, but with his decoy that you can teleport to, you could deploy it maybe on the other side of a wall and teleport to that position. But I think that's useful. I think you can do that if you practice it. But with these particular spy missions, I would just find that a little bit irksome and tricky. And also you still need to parkour past laser beams, and yeah, it again gets tricky. And then we have our boy Wukong. I love Wukong. I don't use him enough anymore, but he can go invisible with his Cloud Walker and bypass freaking laser beams and security. I don't know why I keep saying freaking laser beams. It's from a film. Can you guess which one? Anyway, there is again this hold up with this situation where you have to wall latch and potentially jump through a laser beam if you don't time it right, and that can just set off the alarm, which means you've got less time to do the rest of the wall latching, so it gets a bit stressful. So you could use him, you could try it. I haven't personally, because there is one goat essentially of these types of missions, and I didn't like this Warframe generally, but for these missions he is the god-dang-it king. That's right, guys, it's our 70s pimp, Limbo. Are we allowed to say things like that? I don't know. He looks a bit like a pimp to me. You know, like out of Scrubs, that kind of, you know, with the top hat. Anyway, this was, I think, my Limbo build. I didn't worry too much about the mod configuration. No, it wasn't this one. It was the next one along. Yeah, I put Patagium in it. Patagium, and that just increased my wall latch. I didn't put anything with a parkour speed plus wall latch in there, because jumping between the points when you're wall latching was a nightmare if you increased your parkour. Now, the reason I'm using Limbo is because he has a passive, and in that passive you dodge and go into the rift, and when you are in the rift you are immune to taking damage. You can't deal damage either, I don't believe, but it means you can bypass laser beams. Doesn't mean you're invisible. Enemies can still see you, so I'm getting reports that he's not good for all spy missions, but for this particular one he is the goat. He is the go-to, and I would say he's probably got a lot of uses for other things where he makes defenses and mobile defenses sort of not take damage if you use his abilities correctly. Anyway, we'll get into that in another episode. But I just wanted to show you my build, and I took the Exceltra Prime. You need at least one good weapon. There's one specific bit in this whole thing where you just need to be able to shoot a couple of enemies quickly, and that's about it really. I took my Exceltra, but I just wanted to show you that I took a random secondary, and it turned out to be the Magnus Prime. I'm going to show you. I haven't potatoed it. This is literally my mod configuration, and I still use it for certain bits in this mission, not to kill enemies per se, but just for certain things. So we'll get into that shortly. And if you're like me and you see a helpful video and you think, well, now I need to get the stuff and the things that are in the video, where do I get it? You need to have done the Limbo Theorem quest. It was quite far down my list, so I can't remember which order it came in, like how far into the game the Limbo Theorem is, but if you've got access to it, go and do it, and you'll get his blueprints from that mission. Limbo Prime is on the Resurgence as I record this in August the 12th, 13th. He was on the Resurgence, I think, for another week or two, so you could go and get a Limbo Prime or buy a Limbo Prime, or, you know, I might have a set that I can give you. I don't know, I've always got stuff lurking around. So let's get into the mission, and remember, I have chaptered this video so you can scroll backwards and forwards and click on the bits that you need very, very quickly on the video, or in the description below it'll tell you the chapters. And as you saw, I just went into the rift by dodging, and like any spy mission, we have an A, B and C point. I just go to A first. There are 3 particular puzzle rooms, and they won't always be in the same order every time. I've come out of the rift because I need to shoot that target to open the door beyond, and now we're in this room and everything's a bit damaged and weird, so we can't set anything off. The only thing we can do is go through this void portal. If you can't go through them, shoot them first. That's the rule, don't ask me why. And now we can trigger this. This opens the door to our left. I'm going back into the rift and shooting that target, and this time it allowed me to. Don't ask me why. And now I'm jumping and wall latching, and shooting the target when I latch onto the next wall. Very important. You cannot shoot that target, it won't light up unless you are latched to these walls. And to latch, I just double tapped aim. On my Xbox controller, that's LT. I had to tap it twice. There were a couple of times where it just didn't latch me on, no matter how many times I rammed that button down. And it was a nightmare. But as long as you're in the rift, you won't set off the laser beams. You just have to start again. That's all, and just practice. Now we're into this center console, and as you can see, there are laser beams. We're not going to worry about those because we are still in the rift. I.e., we're not going to set these laser beams off, so we can just concentrate now on working our way around, latching on these 4 beautiful blue walls, and then behind us, that has now opened. We need to go through, come out of the rift, jump on that center target. That's gonna bring these enemies alive one by one, but it also drains our shields. So you want to kill these enemies the moment they come to life. It kind of goes in a very particular order, which you will learn as you go. There's only 4, which is why I took my Exceltra Prime, just to muller them really quickly. And then once you've done that, you go through and you've got the hack thingy that you can do. I've just used a cipher. Now there is a squirrely thing to our right here, the void, whatever it is, and there's another one here. This one isn't going to work. That one would if I just ran through it. Oh no, do I have to shoot it first? No. The other one, it looks slightly different, so I'd have had to shoot it first to make it work. But either way, it kind of brings us back to the beginning. There is multiple void thingies, and they are there really just to confuse the hell out of you. So I'm just showing you, look, they just keep bringing me back to the same point-ish. There you go. So, and now we're done with that. We're out of A, and we're going to head to B. And just to reiterate yet again, they don't always appear in this order. Now this room, you have to come out of the rift to interact with the console every single time. I know it's a bit, but you know, well worth doing. I've ciphered this, even though it's so easy. I could have done it, I'm just lazy. And I've gone straight back into the rift because there are laser beams afoot. You would just need to avoid them. But as you can see, we need to get to that point over there. And we can't at the moment because we're in the wrong timeline. So we need to find a void rift thingamajigger. So we turn right, we go up here, up the stairs, whatever you want to do, jump up through the door and then straight down. See that? That's a void swirly thing. I accidentally jumped straight through it. Every time we go through it, it wipes off our limbo rift. So I dodge immediately to go back into it. Now, all of these laser beams, all the electrical stuff on the floor, doesn't matter. You can go wherever you like. As long as you're in the rift, you won't set anything off. So you parkour like a pro across. And then there's a set of stairs here. We could go through those laser beams, but the door beyond is shut. So we need to come up to the top of the stairs, set off the pressure pad, and then the door beyond those laser beams is on a timer. You need to get down there quick. There's a frosty floor that will slow you down. Go through that door before it shuts, as you can see. I haven't actually failed it, so I don't actually know what happens if it shuts. Come out of the rift, do your cipher, and now a void swirly thing has appeared behind us. We're going to go back through it, and then we're going to exit the room. And I know I said they're not always in the same order, but from my very small amount of experience doing these, the longest room seems to always be at the C point, and you just run into it, man. It's just like, oh, here we are in the room. And what we want to do, obviously you can see the point there, there's this whole thing about time travel. So what we want to do first is turn to our right and just shoot that target. I came out of the rift. Go into this room, go through the void swirly thing. Open this door here using this console. And then into this room. Now it's kind of like all shiny and new. We want to damage it a bit. Shoot that ceiling tile. I just used my Magnus Prime there. I shot it. And then we're going to go back through the void squirrely thing, but I had to shoot it to get back through. And it takes us back to this sort of present damaged time. And now we've knocked a massive hole in the floor. So we're going to go through that hole in the floor. I find this a bit weird to get through. To get down. We're going to follow it through. There's only one way to go. And look, another void swirly thing. We're going to go through it. And then we're going to go straight on. I'm looking around, but we're going to go straight to this console here. Press it. It brings that down. And we're just going to jump up through this gap. Don't worry about any of that stuff there. You want to look straight up. Shoot the void swirly thing and then just bullet jump into it. Don't worry about anything else. And then we're going to go straight down. I'm looking around the room just to give you some bearings, but we're going to go straight down here. Jump across the chasm. And guess what, guys? That's right. There's another void swirly thing. We're going to go through it because we need to shoot that barrel. We're in the exact same room. It's just in a different timeline. Go back through the void swirly thing. And now I need to go back into the rift. And this room, you could go through that void thing to your right. There's a whole timer thing or like a pattern that you need to jump. We don't need to worry about any of this. We're limbo. So we're going to ignore all of this and turn left and go through those laser beams over there. And we're going to shortcut it. I don't know if there's another way of doing it or whether it's just a red herring. Find the next void swirly thing and we're out of the rift. So we need to go back into our rift. Jump on this pressure pad here. And then this is very, very quick. Keep going to your right through the next door. Come out of the rift. And then this whole thing here, we're going to set off this console and it's going to move the target along to the left. And as you can see, there's a barrel there and we need to translocate that barrel basically into another timeline. And then I don't know if you need to shoot the void swirly thing, but basically you want to go through it yourself as well. I think it's attached to that moving target, so just follow it, jump through it, and as you can see, the barrel is now in this timeline. Shoot the barrel, it blows up the wall. go through this next void thing, and that's it. You're at the console, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I know. First time I figured it out or saw it, it was like, oh god. And I've done it multiple times now, back to back, and it's ingrained in my memory. To exit, once you've done the console, just go through the void swirly thing again, and that's it. You're done, guys. Exito. When I was trialing and error this, I tried different routes, and I got so lost. I think I got stuck in a room for like eternity at one point, so I had to abort the mission because I just got so lost. And that's it. Like, obviously there are other like rooms at Lua, the music kind of puzzles. We'll go through that in a separate episode. I still need to get my head around some of those myself. You exito, and then you hope to all the Warframe gods that you've got that Rime Rounds. I did it 3 times in a row when I first practiced it, and I got Rime Rounds after the 3rd go, but I haven't got it since. I've got a lot of stands mods though. And that's it, my darlings. You know, practice really does make perfect, and even though I edited out a few of the moments where I fell off things, it is difficult. Like, as long as you're limbo though, you won't set off the alarms. As long as you're in that rift, you will have time. So just take your time, practice it. Watch this video back a few times. Maybe, you know, I can babysit you through them. I don't know. I will release at the same time as this video, like I said, this. And it's just me going through the mission from beginning to end. No talkies. Just to show people, like, this is just how you do it. This is just how you get on with it. And you've just got to practice, and you've got to learn the routes and just become confident with it, I guess. And for me, it was the wall latching one. I find that so, like, I don't know why. It's not difficult. I just tap the button too many times, jump too far. I'm just like, and it's fine. You can restart it if you're limbo and you haven't set those alarms off and you're in the rift. It's all groovy in the hoovy, as I keep saying. I don't know where I got it from. It's because we're a 70s pimp, right? Okay. Anyway, my darlings, I hope this helped you in some way. If it did, like I said, drop me a like, I don't know, a sub, a comment. Any kind of form of support will be incredibly appreciated. And if you do like my dulcet tones, I got a ton of other videos where, you know, this is the home of meandering commentary. I try to keep it to the point nowadays because I realised my fellow gamers, you know, they just want me to get to the point. Some of the people in my Discord, however, do love my company. You know, I'm just staying, just a hoot. So, you know, whatever floats your boat. In the meantime, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what that may be. But in the meantime, you take care now, and goodbye.